about where we are on comp before signing off and letting you go back to your important recruitment duties. We've got Frank, excellent, welcome. He's almost connected. Welcome, Frank, good to have you.
And Kim, I am here too. I'm just on the side.
Ah, stealth. Where are you, Linda? Oh, there you are. Hi, Linda. Excellent.
We just have the camera on one side to the presenters.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Good. Well, good to see you. Yeah, I'm just curious if we. Anyway, those are questions we can think about momentarily.
I think we're still waiting for two
Yep.
more people from the exec.
Yes.
Yep. And I think
Yes,
John
great.
is joining as well, but as soon as we have commissioners, we will book. It is just barely 1 o'clock, so. Hello, Julie. We are just waiting on a couple board members and then we're going to get started. Is it a beautiful day down there?
It's cloudy here.
Howdy.
Yeah.
It feels like autumn up here. Feels like autumn.
Yeah. Yeah, no sun yet.
That means welcome football and goodbye baseball. How are those Dodgers doing, Craig?
They're doing great, Kim. They're in the playoffs. I don't believe
Are
there's a
they?
Bay Area team in the playoffs, but so you're probably not paying attention.
It's not goodbye quite yet, Kim. We're still in it.
I know. I said goodbye baseball broadly, Sarita. I think that you're showing some.
If you're a Giants fan, it's goodbye baseball.
Ouch.
So Laura, I want you to know it has been very, I mean, my job at First Five LA has been challenging in so many ways. Let me count the ways. One of which is being a San Francisco Giants fan and a 49er fan and a Golden State Warriors fan.
Well,
I can see.
It's actually a very warm and inviting and inclusive work environment, except for professional sports.
Exactly.
Some of us have crosses to bear, Kim. That's just the way it is.
Look at Frank.
I don't think you can see it, but it's supposed to
Oh,
say
Frank.
Oh,
Oh, Rams fan.
A
course,
Rams fan.
we won't talk about the game against the 49ers a couple weeks back. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. The season's young, Frank. The season's young. The Dodgers, though, I mean, aren't the Dodgers having like one of the most epic seasons in baseball history?
We are.
Yeah. I like the pronoun, Sarita. We are. It's true. It's a great aspect of the LA community. It really is. It's a very serious sports city. I mean, my heavens, how many football teams and basketball teams? And
well, dare I
baseball?
say that my favorite is the Raiders, but I know they've lost your lovely state or left your lovely state. So
Well,
Laura,
and,
we're a Raider family in my household.
are you?
My
Okay.
and
husband started
Antoinette.
with them. With
Oh,
the
Antoinette
LA
also.
Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
my mom is ready to get rid of Derek Carr.
I thought
He's
you were
so
about to,
cute.
I thought you were about to say your mom's getting ready to get rid of your husband.
Right.
right, exactly, because he's a Charger fan.
Ah.
All right, Judy, my recommendation would be we go ahead and get started. I know the committee has a lot to do and we're grateful for 25, 30 minutes of time to talk about compensation. But
All right,
that's your call.
let's call ourselves to order. And do we need to do anything with the public right now?
I can confirm that there are no public comments for items that are on this agenda.
All right, then we'll turn it over to Kim, I guess, for what introducing our topic.
I'm going to
And-
turn it over to Antoinette and go. Actually, do we have any minutes?
Yes, before we go on
Yes.
to item 4, item 3, review meeting minutes from the executive committee on October 3rd. If there aren't any additions or deletions or any changes, we can go ahead and mark these as received and filed away.
Anybody have any changes? Doesn't look like it, so let's move on to item 4.
Okay, so before we get started, it may seem a little strange to everyone on Zoom. It looks like Gala and I are looking away from you, but actually we're looking right at you. The camera is to our left, just in case you're wondering why we're not looking directly at everyone on screen. So I am happy to bring this item to commissioners this afternoon. You heard during yesterday's board meeting that First 5LA is continuing to evolve. We're becoming more clear about what we're trying to accomplish, and we continue to learn from our work about what it takes to do systems change. And that means also considering our talent needs. So in July of this year, we provided an overview of First 5LA's compensation philosophy, and then we shared the focus of the compensation study. At that time, we did not have a signed contract with the firm that would be working with us. And today I'm pleased to say that we have been working with Mercer over the last several weeks on the compensation study. And Laura Musser is joining us today. She's the senior principal and senior compensation consultant with Mercer. So she is here to help answer any questions that executive committee members have about the study. Now, I realize that we don't actually have our PowerPoint up, so I'm going to do that right now.
We are grateful to the executive committee for participating in this first hybrid effort to have a hybrid meeting, and we're learning together as we go. There you go, Antoinette.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Amato. So we're going to go, I guess I can move the slides now. Yeah, so we did not have the contract with Mercer at that time. So today we're actually going to we're going to share where we are in the process and some of Mercer's initial observations, and then we'll also discuss next. As we talked about during the last executive committee meeting, we started the compensation study for a few reasons. One is that we did the last compensation study about 9 years ago, and best practices say that we should do this every 3 to 5 years. And this became increasingly relevant because of the competitive job market. We were having challenges in recruiting and hiring top talent. And we also know that inflation is over 8% at this time. So we really wanted to take a look at take a look at our market competitiveness. We also know that the executive director search is underway. And so looking, our competition for top talent, rising inflation, leadership transitions, these are all motivating us to take a look at our compensation philosophy and our market competitiveness, all while also looking at our fiscal responsibility, because we still have to be accountable to public dollars and to use those public dollars wisely. In the meeting that we had with the executive team in July, you affirmed the compensation philosophy, and you also supported the need for us to do an updated compensation study. And so this presentation is to share with you the work that has been underway. So this is the compensation philosophy that we shared with you back in July, that we really want to continue to be competitive in the external market. We want to make sure that we're aligned with best practices, that we're always looking at internally how our salaries are lining up to ensure that we are fair and equitable in our job content and responsibility, as well as salaries. And finally, reward for performance means that we really want to ensure that we are rewarding talented and high-performing employees. So this is the compensation philosophy that the executive committee affirmed back in July. So again, we wanted to do this study to ensure that we're able to attract and retain and motivate our talent while also being accountable and efficient in our expenditures of public dollars. And we contracted with Mercer in mid-August of this year to conduct the study. So Mercer is a leading professional services firm. They have an 84-year history. They do a lot of work in the areas of employee rewards, including work design and effectiveness, workforce strategy, compensation, total rewards, how jobs and the architecture of jobs and careers, assessing and developing talent, executive compensation. And Laura has worked in corporate human resources, and she brings extensive experience in developing and implementing total reward strategies and solutions. And she has particular expertise in things such as job analysis and competitive market positioning, job titling, salary structure design, and these are just a few areas of her expertise. Am I passing this to you now, Gala? Just want to make sure Gala and I are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Gala's going to actually walk through the work that we've been doing with Mercer and some of their initial observations.
Thank you, Antoinette. So the focus of the comp study, Mercer is focusing on analyzing and providing recommendations on ED compensation to help inform executive recruitment. I'm working directly with Mercer and Kim to maintain the integrity of the ED hiring process. They are assessing the competitiveness of our reward programs in the current market, and they are informing any refinement that we need to make to First 5 LA's compensation philosophy, salary, structure, and pay. Mercer's approach. So I'm going to do the analysis of job descriptions, salaries, and salary structure, along with an optimization review of retirement, health, and welfare plans, such as our vacation and holiday benefits, to gain insights on our total reward positioning in the market. They will do an assessment of our base pay using a blended approach. So Mercer will test against comparable jobs in both the nonprofit and corporate sector, because the nonprofit and corporate sectors are the primary sectors from which we attract talent from and lose talent to. They will review our benefits package, and they will provide total reward recommendations based on their findings, which will include the cost to implement any changes to salary. So some of Mercer's high-level observations: there are opportunities to strengthen our compensation philosophy. We can better align our compensation administration programs. We can further clarify our compensation philosophy for directors and above. We can strengthen our approach to reward for performance and recommend a differentiated executive compensation philosophy and strategy. I know that Antoinette mentioned inflation earlier in the presentation, and that is a concern, but including a cost of living adjustment is not recommended at this time. Once the market pricing of positions is finalized, Mercer will recommend any needed changes to better align our salary structure and pay to the market. The other observation is that some of our job titles do not have a strong connection to the external market, which could impact our recruitment efforts, including our talent pool. Next steps. So Mercer will complete their analysis of First 5 LA's market position, including our compensation philosophy, salaries, pay grades and structure, benefits, job titles. Kim will share the ED compensation findings with the executive committee later this month or in early November. And we will provide an overview of findings during the November Board of Commissioners meeting. Thank you for your time today. Does anyone have any questions? And I do want to remind everyone that Laura is here to help answer any questions about Mercer's approach and high-level observations.
All right, does anyone have questions?
I just have a question about the timing. Does this impact, how does this impact the search and the timing of the placement of the new executive director?
So what we're suggesting, Yvette, is that we have a separate conversation with the executive committee. Gala and I are handling this on our own with Mercer and with legal counsel where appropriate. So we don't have a short answer. So it may be a two-step given what we're learning.
Yeah, okay, just that it's close timing, so thank you.
Thank you. And we are, just FYI, following up on yesterday's board meeting, we will be trying to get a little bit of time with the executive committee, likely the first week of November, to follow up on some of the issues discussed yesterday, and this likely would be a topic as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Laura, would you like to just share, I mean, we were presenting your high level thoughts just to keep the presentation succinct, but would love to hear from you as well.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with your team and your leadership, and I think the study is going very well. As the presentation indicated, the philosophy itself, we think, is a solid one. So don't get us wrong, but we do think that there's some underlying things that may be classified as a strategy more than a philosophy, to kind of add the weight to making sure that our analysis is aligned and properly aligned with your mission and your objectives. And then also that paves the way for future analysis as well, so that it's not lost in translation should any of the team members change. The other insights that we're finding, we are not finished with our benchmarking. So we have spent a lot of time to make sure that we understand the jobs and that we are properly going to market. But we are moving along with some minor adjustments. We do want to make sure that we are very thorough in making sure that alignment is tight, because all recommendations are based off of that. So our next steps are to finalize that piece, which we're very, very close to that. We have been talking about salary structure design and cost to implement. So we are moving forward and continue to progress towards a final report that would then be shared to address all the things that Gala mentioned.
This is Frank. Hi, Laura. And
hi, Frank.
Just want to say, I think we're definitely off to a good start. It resonates well with what I think we need. So we're definitely, I think, on point.
Great.
Any other comments or questions from the exec or staff?
So the only other thing to mention is that, as Laura said, we're continuing to do the study.
We lost some of your words there. Could you get closer to your microphone and start over?
Is that better? Okay. So I was saying that the one of the next steps, so we're continuing to do the study. We're just sharing with the executive committee some of the high level observations. As Laura said, we're continuing to look at the jobs and our market position using the blended approach. And in November, we will bring to the full board the findings and the observation. So you'll get more information during the November board meeting.
And the intent is not to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gala and Antoinette, our intent is not to be bringing to the board in November recommendations for action. This is really just wanting to keep board leadership, the executive committee apprised of both the goals and the process and the initial findings that are emerging from the comp study. We'll do that with the broader board, as Antoinette said, in November. Get board feedback, and then that will be very helpful to the team come 2023 in terms of their efforts to develop the operating budget for the next fiscal year. So that's where these are, this updating of the compensation framework grounded in today's market is critical to informing the next iteration of the budget. Now, if there are some significant equity issues that are identified, then that's something we would want to come back to the board and say, we need to make some near-term adjustments. But this is really teeing up planning, we're planning around the operating budget for next year. And Antoinette, correct me if I got that wrong.
No, you're correct, Kim.
Okay. Okay, so we will get out of your hair unless there are any other questions or observations, and thank Laura for her partnership and contributions and work with us. Again, thanking the executive committee for carving out some time as you return to your otherwise super important work. Okay, thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, Gala.
Everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we'll see everyone on the closed session link.
Yes.